Hey everybody, welcome back. David E on here with another key recommendation. Not major keys, but certainly unrecognized keys. And these are two stories that go together. So the first part is right here in Superman 423. And the second part of this story is in Action Comics 583. And this is a storyline that's really kind of been lost to the ages. It's been completely forgotten about. Both stories written by Alan Moore. Alan Moore is the writer for these, and it's an interesting read, and there's a great deal of finality in both of these issues. And it's in DC continuity. If you were to go to DC's website, they would call this Earth 423 to explain it, because he really does end the entire Superman saga right here. And then, of course, nobody ever really dies and nothing is ever really finished in comic books. So DC brings it right back. Now, if you were to get these graded and you were to look at the key spot on the grading slip, it would say something like last issue, which in theory it is, because this becomes Adventures of Superman, I think. Superman 423 here. But there's so much more going on in this than last issue and ends Alan Moore storyline, which is what they're going to tell you again if you were to get this graded. There's so much more going on in here. And of course, it's spoiler alert time. And this is art by, who was it? Kurt Swan and George Perez are the artists on this one. And then Kurt Swan and Kurt Schaffenberger in the Superman or the Action Comics 583 there. So there is going to be some spoiler alert. And these are really just reader copies that I brought out for this. You know, and I do like to try to flip through a little bit so people can see what's going on. This is set way in the future in the comics series. Superman is gone. Here's old lady Lois Lane, or older old Lois Lane, and she's being interviewed and explaining what the hell happened, her last moments with Superman. So this is how they were gonna wrap this up. And in this series, and again, I'm gonna spoil it for you, you see, and actually it's right here, the death of Bizarro takes place in this series. Because they kill off a bunch of people, and it's not just like unknown characters. So you get the death of Bizarro, the death of Lana Lang, the death of Jimmy Olsen, the death of Lex Luthor, the death of Brainiac, and of all people, or all characters, the death of Mxyzptlk, which is the original pronunciation of the name, Mxyzptlk, 4 syllables. Because I know people are always confused about that. And even within DC continuity, it's inconsistent because it's pronounced different ways in their animated. But originally it's Mxyzptlk, which was revealed, I forget what issue of Superboy they explained that in. Because they did actually explain it in an episode of Superboy, because people were confused about the name back in the Silver Age. And then the destruction of Superman, who, because he's so distraught by the end of the storyline, exposes himself to gold kryptonite and then disappears. And in the old DC continuity, gold kryptonite would permanently strip a Kryptonian of his powers. He would have no powers anymore. Death of Crypto, too, I think. I think Crypto dies in this series. The Superdog. So there's a lot going on here in this entire series. Two series. It's 2 issues. 2 issues. And finality. And there's your prize cash, by the way. And a nice ad from M&M's on the back. And we'll go ahead and we'll flip through the other one here really quick. But that's a lot going on. And then, and of course, none of it is mentioned if you look at key components, if you were to get this graded. It's just overlooked. Now, of course, we're in Action Comics 583 here. which is the chaser. This is the second part of Alan Moore's story. What I think is particularly interesting in this, and it's something that they could go back to, and no writer at DC ever has, not that DC or Marvel is producing any good writing nowadays, but Mxyzptlk's true function and true form are revealed. And I think in here he's even like, you didn't think I'm just some happy-go-lucky imp in a purple and orange outfit, did you? That you see his true form. And this is the only time you will ever see his true form is in Action Comics 583. And then reveals himself and the true purpose behind the things that he does to Superman, at which point no other alternative is left but to destroy Mxyzptlk in the end of this. Bet you didn't know there was a way to do that. Well, Superman figured it out. Superman had a way to dispose of him for real, not just making him say his name backwards, which is typically how he would have to be forced to go back to his dimension. So that's really interesting. I would love to see someone, a writer, revisit that form of Mxyzptlk. And see, here he is. Here he is looking like Ozzy Osbourne. And then he reveals his true self. Oh, you can, yeah, take a look at that. That's, you know, looking kind of gross and creepy there, like he's been smoking crack all day. And it's like, that's Mix? No, this is Mix over here on the next page. Mxyzptlk in his true form, revealed for the first time as he reveals his true function and purpose. At which point there's no alternative left but for him to be destroyed, which happens actually very quickly in the end of this, as well as the disappearance of Clark Kent. Disappearance of Clark Kent, the disappearance of Superman after Superman essentially destroys himself. Or does he? After he exposes himself to the gold kryptonite. So very overlooked. This is a forgotten storyline, you know, in really decent condition. And again, these are reader copies. In decent condition, you can get a decent price for it. But most of the time, even a mid-grade, I mean, like these right here, these are probably like $5 a piece in this condition. But if you get you can get a solid mid or upper grade copy for not too much. I recommend reading it, checking it out. And again, I would like to see someone revisit this, which is referred to again by DC Comics as Earth 423, which is of course a reference to the number on the issue of Superman. So I don't know if anybody has these, remembers these. I recommend checking it out. Go ahead and find them. You may even find these in the dollar bin just because people don't recognize what they are. Really simple. Especially a lot of the Copper Age Superman stuff is just mostly ignored. Is mostly ignored, but there's some real gems in there, and I think these are a couple of them. And I recommend checking them out. So I hope you found that interesting. Let me know, do you remember this storyline? Is that something you'd be interested in taking a look at? Let me know in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. I hope that you did. Share the video if you can. Help the channel grow. Subscribe if you're new. All that good stuff. And if that's it, then what more can we say? But thanks for watching. And we will see you again soon.